News came in yesterday, just catching up from not being able to post yesterday. Trump has laid off about 300 Energy Department employees. The big thing about this is that these were nuclear stockpile employees. In that 300, about 50 were primary administrative roles that were crucial to the whole project. Realizing this mistake in the mass layoff, they have asked these workers to come back, but it has not been reported if they come back or not yet. More updates throughout the day. I have my socials here. Follow me for more updates. Not per se a breaking news or breaking story, but just an update overall. The average price of eggs have hit a record high this January. The average price of a dozen eggs has hit $4.95. This is a huge increase. Seen back in August of 2023, the average price was about $2.03. And then here's a chart showing that trend, with a lot of Republican voters banking on the fact that Donald Trump was going to lower overall prices, kind of pushing that narrative that egg prices were the staple mark of how the economy is. This is a big indicator that prices are not going down anytime soon. My socials are going to be here. More updates throughout the day. Follow me for more. This coming in, there is a protest outside the Manhattan showroom for Tesla. Here are some videos showing that off right now. Not just happening in Manhattan, but it is happening all across the country as of right now. These are some of the signs that people are holding. Again, this seems like a pre-planned thing. There is a whole website for it with a map and hashtags. Continue to update throughout the day. My socials are going to be right here. I'll post more videos throughout the day. This just coming in, the National Security Advisor Michael Waltz and the Special Envoy to the Middle East Steve Witkoff are headed to Saudi Arabia right now to initiate negotiations for a peace between Ukraine and Russia. This coming days after President Trump and Vladimir Putin had a phone call to start planning for these plans for a peace treaty or a end to the war. This does raise some concerns because the Ukrainian President Zelensky said that they wanted a full participation in these events, but it does seem like as of right now they're being left out of it. Zelensky also told JD Vance that for this to happen, they would need guarantees for their security going forward. I'll keep posting updates throughout the day. My socials are going to be right here. Follow me for more. News coming in, Doge, by the order of Elon Musk, have fired about half of the quote-unquote disease detectives at the CDC. These employees were a part of the Epidemic Intelligence Service, and their whole job was to go out to different locations that were impacted by disease crises, and be on the front line supporting this. In total, about 1,200 employees from the CDC have been laid off. These cuts have caused concern because now there are people that are feeling we are less prepared for any disease crises that come up after this. I have more updates throughout the day. My socials are going to be here. I'll have this in the Substack for today. Follow me for more. Had a very busy day today. Even Ahsoka is mad that she hasn't seen me as much. But came for a quick update. Wasn't able to get a lot of the breaking and big stories from today, but I do have one that I wanted to show everyone. This is a real and legitimate bill that was introduced. And the gist of this bill is to rename Greenland to Red, White, and Blue Land. Denmark has stated multiple times that Greenland is not available for purchase, but this bill says that if we do purchase Greenland, it will be changed to Red, White, and Blue Land. Hopefully I'll be posting more videos tomorrow. Ahsoka will be probably not with us tomorrow, but all my socials are going to be here. All more updates, more videos. This coming in, the Mexican president, Claudia Sheinbaum, has said that they are not ruling out a civil lawsuit against Google due to the name change from Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America. She is stating that the decree is restricted to the continental shelf of the Gulf, where Mexico still controls most of the Gulf. It's not clear where or when this suit will be filed, but more updates to come. All my socials are going to be right here. Follow me for updates throughout the day. This also coming in today. Tom Homan, President Trump's border czar, is asking the DOJ to investigate AOC. This comes after AOC held a webinar about how to stay informed and what to do when immigration comes for you and what rights you have. Tom is saying that this seminar was illegal and that AOC is pushing information to evade Border Patrol. Tom was on Fox News this morning, basically confirming that he has asked the DOJ to investigate AOC for this. AOC has responded to him on Twitter this morning. No charges or anything major have come out of this yet, but I'll keep posting updates throughout the day as I get them. Socials are going to be right here. Follow for more updates throughout the day. This story coming in: 4 of Eric Adams, the mayor of New York's top deputies, have resigned. This list includes his first deputy mayor, his deputy for human and health services, his deputy for operations, and his deputy for public safety. In a statement, he said he is disappointed to see them leave, but with the current challenges that they face, he understands their decisions. Story is breaking, and we'll have more updates throughout the day, so I'll keep posting updates. My socials will be right here. More videos throughout the day. Another sad plane update coming in today. A Delta plane has crashed while landing at a Toronto airport. The good thing about this is that all parties are accounted for. There was about 80 passengers on board, 9 being injured, with 1 being critically injured but expected to survive these injuries. This was the flight path that was taken, and this just comes in as another major crash that has happened at the start of this year, bookmarking how many flight incidents we've had. I said this in the last flight update that I had, but a lot of American citizens are having issues and scares about flying now. We'll see how this continues. I'll have more videos throughout the day and more updates. My socials are going to be here. But again, it's a great one just because all passengers are alive and accounted for. So to answer this question, there was blowing snow during the time and increased winds. The winds getting to about 40 miles per hour while landing. So a lot of that comes into effect when landing planes like this. This was a quote a while ago talking about the fire relief in California. I think this was about January when this article came out. So it was January 13th. Pause if you want to read it, but this is from the a member of the California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection. So a mix of the winds and the snow could have potentially made a overcorrection or overturn when landing the plane. Again, it's unfortunate that there was a plane crash, but again, we've had word that all of the crew and passengers are accounted for. There are no deaths at this time. There are injuries, 1 being severe, but all are expected to survive this. My socials are going to be right here. I'll do more updates throughout the day, but I just wanted to answer this question real quick. Some more news coming in. There are protests all across the nation today against Donald Trump and Elon Musk. They are protesting what they are saying: no kings on President's Day. There was a big gathering today at the nation's capital, but also many other places all over the nation. I'm going to show a couple videos from these protests right here. A lot of these protests around the world are taking place in disappointment with the Trump administration or against the Trump administration, how they are handling everything, and how it's seemingly that Elon Musk is the shadow president in a sense. My socials are going to be right here. I'll post more videos throughout the day. Keep following for more updates. 2 big things coming in relatively back to back right now. First, the White House has issued a release stating that Elon Musk is not an employee of Doge or does not have administrative service or purpose in Doge. He is an employee of the White House. This is pretty big because there is a class action lawsuit filed in Maryland against Elon Musk and Doge, saying that they shouldn't have access to all this personal information about everyone in the nation. I'm going to move out the way real quick, but if you want to pause and read all of this. In this, it basically states that Elon Musk is just a special advisor to Trump and can give his opinions, give ideas to him, but has no real authority within Doge or the White House. Back to that first image, he has no administrative authority over Doge. These are pretty big things because we, until now, have not had an actual outline of what Elon Musk can and cannot do within Doge, and if he was even a head or advisor or administrative person inside of Doge. But now that he has finally been labeled as a special advisor to the president, we kind of know the realm of what he can and cannot do now. I'll be posting more updates throughout the day. My socials are going to be right here. Keep watching for more updates. Pretty big news coming in. A senior prosecutor at the DOJ has resigned this Tuesday after being asked to investigate Biden. Denise Chung, the top prosecutor in the Washington, D.C. Attorney's Office, has resigned after Emily Bove gave her a directive to investigate the EPA and the funding by Biden. Once given this assignment, she refused and resigned on the spot, saying that there wasn't enough evidence or that the case felt premature to even approach. This resignation comes in as there is a lot of government firings and resignations happening over and over. A big government overhaul is happening. I have my socials right here. I'll post more videos and updates throughout the day. Another big story coming out this morning is that the CIA has confirmed they are flying unmanned drones over Mexico to have intel and spy on cartels. The CIA has confirmed that they are using MQ-9 Reaper drones to go over to Mexico and spy on these cartels under the new Trump administration's push to treat cartel members as terrorist organizations. As of right now, the MQ-9 drones are unequipped with any weapons, but they are able to have equipment attached to them to carry out precision strikes. These notifications have not said if this is in tangent with Mexico or permitted by Mexico, but it is still happening. I'll post more updates throughout the day. My socials are going to be here. Keep following for updates. I know I've done 3 videos back to back, but I'm just getting the top stories out from today. Last major story for this little round of videos is that conversations between the US and Russia have continued without Ukraine's involvement. These conversations have started in Saudi Arabia with a about 4-hour plus conversation between the US and Russia, coming to the conclusion that all parties will be okay with the solution. That does not seem like it's happening. President Zelensky was not invited, nor was any Ukrainian officials invited to these conversations in Saudi Arabia. President Zelensky has also stated that it is very detrimental that they are invited and part of these conversations. He is very firm in a statement made. He said that he's not going to give in to Russia's ultimatums. I'll keep posting throughout the day, more updates throughout the day. My socials are going to be here. This is the last kind of batch for this kind of 10 minutes, but I'll post more videos throughout the day.
Bitch, I woke up feeling great. Money on my plate, chopper shaking, need some fries. Bitch, this ain't no dinner date. We ain't into it, bitch, you lied. I ain't got no ops today. I got steppers on my side, and they sliding blocks today. I let this chopper rock away. I ain't tryna box today. Free combing lane about that cage. I'm yelling, fuck the cops today. Bitch, get the fuck up out my lane. I ain't tryna stop today. Watch how you speaking on my name. You can meet the doctor today. Yeah, that G-Lock came extended, but I like the rocket stock. And that dumb shit for the kids won't catch me posted on no block. I'm chasing bread, bitch, I ain't tryna chase no op. But shit get hot, so if I did, I throw the sports mode on the crock. But I got motion now, I need to tone it down.
Big story coming in. Trump administration is giving a deadline to schools to end DEI practices. In a memo sent out on Monday from the Department of Education, they are giving schools 14 days or 2 weeks to end DEI practices. If the schools don't comply within that 14 days, they are ending federal funding for these schools. In the memo, it says they cannot treat workers or students differently based on race. This comes after Monday, the Department of Education stated that they cut $600 million in funding for organizations that train teachers in DEI practices, critical race, and social justice activism. In the memo sent out by the Department of Education, they also said that using non-racial information as proxy for race will be a violation of federal law. An example of this is colleges dismissing SAT and ACT scores to achieve a racial balance or a desired diversity. This is a problem because a lot of colleges have already stopped using ACTs and SATs for their admissions. The National Association of Student Financial Aid stated that 14 days truly is not enough time for many of these schools to assess this memo and implement any changes needed to meet these requirements. And a lot of schools just won't have the time to do it before the federal funding ends. I'll post updates throughout the day. My socials are going to be right here. Big story. I'll also be going a little bit more into the memo, hopefully on my Substack today. I have a lot of things I want to write on the Substack, so I'm just getting to everything. Big story coming in. Trump administration is giving a deadline to schools to end DEI practices. In a memo sent out on Monday from the Department of Education, they are giving schools 14 days or 2 weeks to end DEI practices. If the schools don't comply within that 14 days, they are ending federal funding for these schools. In the memo, it says they cannot treat workers or students differently based on race. This comes after Monday, the Department of Education stated that they cut $600 million in funding for organizations that train teachers in DI practices, critical race, and social justice activism. In the memo sent out by the Department of Education, they also said that using non-racial information as proxy for race will be a violation of federal law. An example of this is colleges dismissing SAT and ACT scores to achieve a racial balance or a desired diversity. This is a problem because a lot of colleges have already stopped using ACTs and SATs for their admissions. The National Association of Student Financial Aid stated that 14 days truly is not enough time for many of these schools to assess this memo and implement any changes needed to meet these requirements. And a lot of schools just won't have the time to do it before the federal funding ends. I'll post updates throughout the day. My socials are going to be right here. Big story. I'll also be going a little bit more into the memo, hopefully on my Substack today. I have a lot of things I want to write on the Substack, so I'm just getting to everything. Another plane crash news update today. A mid-air collision happened in southern Arizona, leaving 2 dead. Reports are saying that there was 2 passengers on each plane, but only having 2 fatalities in total of the 4 people involved. Just last week, we had one of the 2 pilots that were on the private jet owned by Bent Neal die in Arizona. About an hour ago, the National Transportation and Safety Board have fully reported about 87 aviation accidents so far this year. With those 87 crashes, about 85 people have been killed in aviation crashes this year. Comparing it to 2024, up until today, February 19th of 2024, there has been significantly less aviation accidents, but the fatalities have been a lot more. From January 1st to February 19th of 2024, there were about 123 aviation accidents, but only having a reported 42 fatalities. The whole perception right now is that it is becoming unsafe to fly. That is attributed to a lot of these crashes being involved of large aircrafts rather than just small private planes. Officials are still saying that it is safe to fly and that you should not be scared to, but with these major crashes back to back, it is getting a little scary to do so. My socials are going to be right here. I'll post more videos throughout the day. It's also coming in today. Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, sent out a memo obtained by the Washington Post that has a proposition for plans to cut 8% of the defense budget in each of the next 5 years. Hegseth has ordered the proposal to be drawn up by the 24th, but there are 17 categories that the Trump administration wants to exempt. These categories being operations at the southern border, modernization of nuclear weapons, missile defense, and acquisition of one-way attack drones and other munitions, and other things as well. Hegseth wrote in the memo, President Trump's charge of the DoD is clear: achieve peace through strength. The time for preparation is over. We must act urgently to revive the warrior ethos, rebuild our military, and reestablish deterrence. If these proposed cuts are adopted, this would mark the largest effort to rein in Pentagon spending since 2013. My socials are going to be here. I'll be posting more updates throughout the day. Follow for more. Other news coming in today, Trump's administration has gone forward with their plan to kill the New York City's congestion pricing. Basically, it was a surcharge for drivers entering Manhattan at peak driving hours or at night. It was designed to help raise millions in infrastructure rather than just putting it into taxes. But about an hour ago, President Trump said on Truth Social, congestion pricing is dead. Manhattan and all of New York is saved. Long live the king. And yes, he did say long live the king in reference to himself. So big statements from Trump today. I'll have my socials right here, more updates and videos throughout the day. Follow for more. News coming in, Governor Kathy Hochul has signed an executive order to issue National Guards to New York State prisons where there are corrections officers strikes. About 3,500 National Guards have been dispatched already. They are going to assess if there's going to be a need for a bigger dispatch after this. These strikes and grievances have been pulled up for a while, but now they have become walkouts. These officers are asking for better working conditions, a more secure and safer check for prison visitors, and more. The major things on there are honestly the understaffing and need for higher pay that are the biggest grievances that they are showing. This comes after a major day of New York news having the congestion pricing being taken away by Trump's executive order. In a press conference, she also stated that she is not subservient, or the state of New York is not subservient to a king, referencing Trump's earlier Truth Social post from today saying, "Long live the king," after the cut of these congestion pricing. I have more updates throughout the day. My socials are going to be here. I'll post more. More news coming in. Trump's administration has done another firing of federal employees, this one being for the USDA, specifically the team that works on the bird flu. This comes at a time where egg prices are rising, and the bird flu is one of the major factors in that price rise, as well as import tariffs from the Trump administration. This kind of is similar to the recent events a couple days ago where the Trump administration fired workers that were working on our nuclear weapons and then had to rescind the offers. These USDA workers that are working on the bird flu have been rescinded their offer and are trying to be reemployed. So basically another mess up with the Trump administration firing essential workers that are detrimental to the public. I have more updates throughout the day. My socials are going to be right here. Follow for more updates. Probably the biggest news that's going to happen today, but Kash Patel was just confirmed as the FBI director by the Senate. His confirmation hearing was one of the big three that were faced with the most scrutiny. During his confirmation hearing, he was hit on for a lot of things being said about how the FBI was part of the deep state. He also had a question about a list of potential people he would go after if he was the FBI director. One major thing is that he was connected to the funding for the January 6th choir, basically a group of individuals that were there on the January 6th insurrection that made a song, and he was questioned as if he was funding it or made money from it. One main thing is that he posted on his Twitter basically a video of his face superimposed on someone using a chainsaw on a tree, but the tree was basically faces of Congress people, news media outlets, and other things. It's going to be a huge one for today. All my socials are going to be here. I'll keep posting updates throughout the day, but this is a major confirmation. News coming in, NBC is reporting that almost all of the migrants that were stationed in Guantanamo Bay have been moved out. In a declaration in response to a lawsuit of holding these immigrants in Guantanamo Bay, the Trump administration has said there was about 178 that were stationed in Guantanamo Bay, all from Venezuela, but they have now been moved. They were all moved from Guantanamo Bay to Honduras. The Foreign Ministry of Honduras has also said on their arrival, about 174 of them are going to be moved from there directly to Venezuela. I post more updates throughout the day. My socials are going to be here. Follow for more. Big news coming in today. The Trump administration is removing and reassigning the acting head of ICE due to frustration of the pace of deportations. Caleb Vitella was the acting head of ICE. He was doing it more from an administrative standpoint. He's now being removed and reportedly to be reassigned to a higher or elevated position, overseeing all field operations. This move has come from the frustration of Donald Trump and the border czar of the pace of their deportations not hitting their marks, which their marks were about 75 arrests per day, and they are not hitting that mark at all. And then leaks coming out of the ICE department. I'll post more updates throughout the day. My socials are going to be here. Follow me for more. More news coming in as well today. President Trump and President Zelensky have still gone back and forth, taking down the Ukrainian-American relations. Over the past couple of days, there has been multiple statements being made about both going back and forth. Trump today saying that Zelensky has no cards and that he's been at these important meetings for 3 years and nothing's getting done, in reference to saying that he doesn't want Zelensky at these meetings for negotiating the end of the Ukrainian-Russian war. There has been multiple meetings recently, mostly in Saudi Arabia, with the U.S. and Russia, without any presence of any Ukrainian ministers or anyone. This led to Zelensky firing back and saying that Trump lives in a disinformation bubble. This led to Trump again saying that Zelensky was a dictator without fair elections, which is a weird thing to say, especially for the fact that Putin has been accused of this multiple times, saying that their democracy is not a true democracy and that their elections are not fair. I'll post more updates throughout the day. Socials are going to be here. Follow me for more updates. This coming in, the Associated Press has filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration, citing freedom of speech as the reason. This was filed in the DC U.S. District Court. The issue that's being brought over is the issue of the Gulf of America / the Gulf of Mexico. The Associated Press was banned from the White House briefings because they kept using the Gulf of Mexico as a way to refer to it, and Trump banned them because they are, in his words, using the wrong name. I'll keep updated about this lawsuit. My socials are going to be here. I'll keep posting throughout the day. Follow for more. Big news just coming in. The Pentagon just released its plan to cut about 5 to 8% of civilian employees. Put in perspective, that is about 950,000 federal employees in total, with about 5,400 being the initial layoff. The acting Secretary of Defense for Personnel and Readiness, Daryl Selnick, has stated that these firings for these 5,400 could happen as soon as next week. This comes after earlier today, the Department of Defense was reported to say that they were stopping their plans for any mass firings until Pete Hegseth has done a thorough review of the impacts of these firings. Hegseth also posted on X yesterday saying that these targets are going to be lower performing employees, but a defense official said to CNN that the range of these firings are going to be broad, and said that the employees are going to be fired are going to be ones that are not needed anymore, so no real set standard. I'll be posting more throughout the day. My social is going to be here. Follow for more updates throughout the day. News literally just coming in right now. There was an attempted gunman at a central Pennsylvania hospital. Law enforcement officials are on the scene right now managing the situation. Officials at UPMC Memorial in York have said that there are no patients that have been injured at this time and the gunman is dead, but any further extents of any injuries have not been said yet. I'll post more updates throughout the day. My socials are going to be right here. Follow for more updates. Some really unfortunate updates to the news that I reported earlier today. During that Pennsylvania hospital attack, an officer was killed in action. Hospital officials are still saying that no patients were injured during this attack. Unfortunately, that officer did die. The Pennsylvania mayor is on his way to the hospital, and he has said that the hospital is secure. On top of this unfortunate development, there was another shooting, this time happening in Albuquerque, New Mexico at a Air Force base. This shooting has left one airman dead, one airman wounded. The Air Force has said that this is not an act of terrorism or by an outsider, but they have declined to say if there's a suspect or a person that has been detained. A spokesperson also declined to comment if the suspected shooter or shooters are airmen as well. So not great developments for today. I'll keep everything updated. I'll post more. My socials are going to be here. Follow for more. News coming in now. Elon Musk has stated that federal employees are going to receive an email pretty shortly asking them to detail what they did last week. As you can see, failure to respond to this email will be taken as a sign of resignation. This is the same tactic that he used when he took over Twitter and asked many employees what they got done last week. If they weren't effective as much, he would ask them to resign. This comes a couple hours after Trump went to Truth Social to praise Elon Musk for reducing the federal government size, asking him to get a little bit more aggressive with that cut. In that, he wrote to Musk saying, "Remember, we have a country to save." I'll keep posting videos throughout the day. My socials are going to be here. Follow for more updates. Another really quick update. CNN has reported that there have been 5 injuries total in the Pennsylvania shooting. The shooter has been identified as 49-year-old Diogenes Archangel Ortiz. It's reported that he was holding ICU staff as hostages during the encounter with police. Out of the 5 injured, 2 of those were police officers who were shot by the gunman. It's being reported that the hospital is still secure. Everything is done, but just more updates on the actual casualties. I'll keep posting throughout the day. My socials are going to be here. Follow me for more updates throughout the day. So another quick update for that story I was talking about earlier, where Elon Musk was saying that federal employees will receive an email asking them to state what they did last week or face termination. We are now seeing some examples of these emails. Another one and another one. As you guys see, it's very straightforward, straight to the point, asking you to list 5 things that you did last week without stating any secret information, links, or attachments, and to CC your boss when you send that email back. As Musk stated earlier, failure to respond within 48 hours or Monday will result in termination. I'll keep posting updates throughout the day. My socials are going to be here. Follow for more. Another big story coming in, Israel said that they are going to delay the release of Palestinian prisoners unless the guarantee for the next hostages are met. These restrictions are saying that they want the next hostages to have a guaranteed release and without any, quote, humiliating ceremonies. 5 of the 6 hostages that were released on Saturday were escorted out to a large crowd by masked armed militia. So this is what they meant by the ceremonies. There's about 600 Palestinian prisoners that are being withheld as of right now, unless these conditions are met. If they are all released at the same time, that would be the biggest one-day release of prisoners in the whole first phase of this Gaza ceasefire. I'll keep posting updates throughout the day. My sources are going to be here. Follow me for more.